One being the garbage. You call on garbage collectors to do their jobs. Haven't you not issued fine to garbage collectors, and where is that process? Why did it stop? That today that garbage collectors or these haulers can go back to their bad habit? Can you expound on that a little bit more? And the next thing, GEBE, the load shedding. I've mentioned that.
Sorry, is that two questions?
No,
I believe that's two questions.
No, it's one.
Let the minister answer one question, please. We are pressed for time.
Yes, yes. Like what I said earlier is that it didn't stop, and like I said, you got to give every individual the opportunity to do what they're supposed to do. And like I mentioned earlier, I would have to put pen to paper and say, look, listen, this is the consequence of you not living up to your contracts. However, the warning is, do what you have to do. You have a contract that was given to you by government to pick up garbage in a responsible manner, and I think they should be given that opportunity, and they know what they have to do. And if not, then I will do what I have to do. Yeah.
Thank you, Bibi. Lyndon Brown, BCN TV News.
Morning to all ministers. Minister Jacob, Kristen, for you. There's a concern. On Monday, I heard the sentiment of the different principals of schools in St. Martin. They're emphasizing that the children are not doing very much in Dutch. Is Dutch the first language or English? Because they're saying that the children are not doing very well, the marks are very low where Dutch is concerned.
Thank you for that question. As far as the Constitution declares, both languages are official languages. The decision was taken many years ago for English to be the language of instruction based on the mother tongue policy when we were still a part of the then Netherlands Antilles, and for St. Martin, Saba, and St. Eustatius, that meant English. Dutch continues to be taught in all these classes, supposedly at a high enough level that the student leaving from the elementary school should be able to go into whether it's a Dutch or a English secondary school. Having been in the system when that happened, I can say that I have had students who left from the mainly English speaking with the Dutch as a strong subject being taught in my class, going into the Havo VWO to take a L's, which are mainly Dutch, and succeeding. However, of course, we have been hearing, and the ministry has been responding to the cry that the Dutch level was dropping below. We've also seen it also at the elementary foundation-based exams. And what is that? An improvement plan was put in place, including having Mrs. Van Gent bring forward a curriculum where it is taught not as a second language so much, but as a foreign language for the students who don't have English as their, or Dutch as their language, don't speak Dutch. So before it was being taught as if it's being taught to a Dutch-speaking person. So the approach now is to go that the Dutch is being taught to the students in the English-speaking schools as a foreign language. So it's just an approach, basically. But we are taking steps within the Department of Education to address our shortfalls in Dutch so that that is not the case when the students end their, whether it's elementary or secondary education. So there is a strong emphasis on it. And we've seen also more parents wanting Dutch as their elementary choice. And so the public education is starting a Dutch stream. The idea was to start with 2. However, at this point, we can only start with 1. As the need grows, of course, we have to adjust.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C. Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. It's available at Van Dodberdien Madam Estate, Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville, and from all Lion members and at the Lion's Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Employee receives a letter at each point in the process, keeping them up to date on their case. We recognize that sometimes it's difficult for employees to come in and make official complaints because they are sometimes concerned about what retribution or what consequences may come as a result of their actions. So one of the things that the ministry is working on is improving our online presence and seeing if we can provide a platform where employees may be able to file complaints online. With SZV, if you're working 5 days a week consecutively, you're covered for medical insurance. However, if you are working 16 hours, 4 days a week, you're not. Are they covered for the amount of hours worked? And as a note, we need to double check if it's 5 days consecutively or 5 days in the week. I think it's 5 days per week. The coverage is based on ZEVE legislation and is regulated per day, not hours. So in other words, you can work just 2 hours a day for 5 days and you would be covered. But if you worked a lot of hours in less than 5 days, you would not be covered. That's the way the current legislation reads. However, with the introduction of national health insurance, this is a gap that would be addressed. Who's responsible for the employee taxes and social premiums at the employment agencies? The employment agency is the employer, and the employment agency is responsible for paying the taxes and social premiums. Questions by MP Claire Connor. What is the period between the consecutive contracts? The period between the consecutive contracts is maximum 3 months. Is it up to the discretion of the employer to decide which means will be used to issue a pay slip? The question was regarding paper pay slips or digital pay slips. The proposal as to whether a pay slip is provided digitally or in hard copy is a proposal of the tripartite committee and should also include that pay slips will only be given digitally based on the request or approval of the employee. Right now, however, our legislation doesn't even allow the possibility for digital pay slips to be given. How does casual labor work in practice? Can a casual laborer be placed on a schedule or placed on multiple days? If it is not casual, then what is it? Casual labor is by definition incidental labor whereby a person can freely say no to the work being offered. A casual laborer can be placed on a schedule and work multiple days, but the worker must have the ability to refuse and set his or her own schedule. The moment there is an authority relationship, there is a labor contract between employer or employee. The minister mentioned that the maternity leave of a woman who has been hospitalized for an extended period can be transferred to the male. How is this done? This would entitle proof via the physician and SZV to the employer. Can the reports of the consultation with the tripartite committee be sent to Parliament, like copies of decisions and consultations taken, so Parliament can see who was championing what? What were the positions of the members of the tripartite committee? How did those changes affect the final draft of the law? The report that was generated as a result of the tripartite committee discussions on the proposed legislation to amend the Civil Code has been outlined in the consensus document, which was unanimously approved by all of the committee members and has already been provided to Parliament. The committee felt that the internal working documents and minutes are confidential. And I'd like to reinforce here, clearly the discussions on the Civil Code have taken some time. And it's taken time because one of the first things the tripartite needed to do was to establish trust, confidence in each other, open dialogue, so that we could really talk about what were the issues and what were the concerns. And I think creating an atmosphere where all of the people felt that they were able to speak freely is critical. And I think the committee felt that by releasing minutes, it would operate contrary to the principles of trying to get the committee members to cooperate and work together. How exactly will we be able to enforce these new regulations? Can the minister explain how these supervisions will be done? Would more inspectors be hired? Key to enforcement will entail a public awareness campaign and support from both the unions and the business associations to ensure employers and employees are aware of their rights and obligations. This must be supported by facilitating ways that are easy and less cumbersome for employees to report abuse. In addition, joint controls will remain ongoing through the Ministry of VSA and other ministries to monitor and enforce compliance of employers. I think also the Ministry of Justice is working on the administrative fines, and the possibility to make it easier to give fines is I think, a critical part of this process. As it is now, for the inspectors from VSA to issue, let's say, an official warning with a financial consequence, it needs to be done through a process verbal, and it's a complicated and cumbersome process currently. By changing the law, how exactly will respect be given by those who are always looking to circumvent their ways around the law? Dissemination of information to employers and employees, along with increased inspections and/or controls to ensure compliance will increase. For so many parts of what we're working on, and that's NHI, that's labor, compliance is critical to seeing that the success of all of the programs and initiatives that we're taking. And again, this is something that the government, and in particular the ministry, takes very seriously, that in the end we must, cross ministries, work together to improve compliance.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
Win yourself a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies. Get your tickets for the Gold Green Car Raffle and win a brand new Toyota Prius C. Tickets only $10. Get your tickets today. The more tickets you get, the more chances you have. Draw date, Sunday, October 8th. Tickets available at Van Godberdeen, Madam Estate, Big D's Photo Studio on the Pondville, and from all Lion members and at the Lions Den. Get your tickets to win a brand new car from the St. Martin's Lions Club and Port of St. Martin Group of Companies.
MP Samuel asks, is the underspending of personal costs structural or only incidental? The underspending is an incidental occurrence. MP Samuel further mentioned an issue surrounding fuel and our own army, but I think it was a statement he made as far as those two subjects are concerned, announcing he'll coming back on them, so there was not any question incorporated in those statements. MP Myers asks, can the minister give a better elucidation on what CFT means with their remark, cautiously optimistic on the first quarterly report? I can recall that the CFT indeed mentioned that they were cautiously optimistic on the report that the MP refers to, and that cautious optimism related to the fact that they had no reports on how the revenues development and expenditures development was occurring during the year. At that time, they made this remark about their cautiously optimistic. In other words, they felt that we at that time were heading in the right direction, but could not confirm that because of the absence of concrete numbers to be able to support that sentiment. Since then to now, those numbers have surfaced, and they have verified those numbers at the receiver's office, and they have now issued a letter dated the 9th of August where they can confirm that St. Martin is on the right track. An initial question from MP Myers was, what reports are there and what areas do they apply, such as the ICT? The report on ICT, there isn't a report on ICT requested by the Minister of General Affairs, and I understood that the report has now been completed and delivered. It's a report related to all of the outages that were repeatedly suffered, that virtually crippled the government administration and contributed to substantial delays in delivering products that had to be delivered in a timely manner. This forensic report has not yet been released. And I don't feel that I'm at liberty to reveal the contents of that report at this time. That should be the prerogative of the Minister of General Affairs. The other question requires some clarification, Madam Chair Lady. It regards concerns about fuel costs. Although I believe that was the response from MP Myers to a statement he made in connection with a past issue on increasing fuel that regarded MP Samuel. So that was not really a question directed to me. MP Connor asked whether or not the report, the semi-annual report, can be translated into English. Of course, it can be translated into English, and we will translate it into English. And as soon as that translation is completed, we will submit the English version of it to Parliament, Madam Chair Lady. MP Connor further asked if I could clearly indicate what is meant by stating there are positive results and the outlook is possible. He wants me to be more specific about that. Well, we all know when we say that the results are positive, in general what that means. Specifically, as far as the semi-annual report is concerned, it means that the estimation and projections that have been made for budget execution during 2017, that the revenues adequately covers the expenditures, and that the expectation is that by the end of this year, the budget shall either end balanced or with a surplus.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Also, a lot of requests is noticed with for children, minors of school-going age, and some of these requests are very difficult to deal with, in the sense that they may not be able, they're too young to work, and they are not, how you say, because of lack of maybe being able to speak the English language, etc., will not be able to attend school. There too, I would like to ask parents, please do not bring your children to the island and then try to get a permit for them. Get the information, again, from the respective department, from the immigration department. I would ask the department to put out information as to what are the requirements for someone who wants to request a permit for their kids. And and please adhere to that, because it would put us in very difficult situation. And if we are talking about prevention, just imagine a child 14 or 15 years old who is too young to work but cannot attend school for one reason or the other, while the parents are at work. We are creating a social problem that is only going to do not the parents, not the child, not the community any good. So therefore, my appeal to all involved to take heed of the rules and regulations and get the information before acting. The issue with the parking in Front Street, as mentioned by my colleague, Minister of Romy, I, as a matter of fact, congratulate him for stepping up the action, not just on the parking, but also on those trucks. I too, coming in this morning, at a certain moment had to navigate between bags of garbage on the street because trucks driving without their garbage being covered and the wind blow it off, and they would not even stop to pick it up. We cannot continue to condone these type of actions by saying, oh, government is getting down on the people and things like that. We all should want to be law-abiding citizens, and if we can't respect the smaller rules, the easy rules like parking, etc., then what about the bigger ones? Okay, so if everyone would just ignore the rules and regulations, then we might end up living in a banana republic, which we don't want. We have a beautiful island, and for our own health and safety, we want to keep it that way. So we as government have the responsibility, and yes, we will be criticized for stepping up these actions, but it is for everyone's own good that we will be doing it.